Hey guys, just having my second giant coffee of the day. Happy Thursday, November, 2 weeks till Thanksgiving. Can't believe it. Oh my gosh. For those of you who are in the US, for those of you who aren't, just a regular Thursday in November. It is noon here, noon in Boston. I have, I think, 3 questions today, so I'm going to dive right into them. If you guys hop on and you miss anything, you can always go back and watch the recording. You know that. So Hoerner happy hour. Let's do this. Teresa, good question. She was asking about how to write an eye-catching bio. So I don't know if this happens to you guys. I actually, like every new place I would teach at, I would have to write a new bio, and I'd never like what I used to have, so I'd try and rewrite it, and then it was always hard to come up with something that was good, because you have to be succinct, right? It has to be short, maybe like a paragraph, depending on where it's going, but probably up on the website, and you just get a little like 30-second blip or paragraph about you. So it's hard to do. It's hard to condense that much into what you want to say. A few things here, Teresa. So first of all, I would look at the other bios of the place that you're subbing at. You said it was a corporate facility, so I'm assuming there's other instructors there or trainers, and you can look at what they have and kind of mirror that. The person that you're going to submit it to will probably want a similar format. I've seen all over the place, like sometimes places, studios especially, you have your own page. You get a picture, you get a quote, you get a full bio, lots of questions, and sometimes it's really just like a little, like, I have this certification and I teach this class. So it will really depend on the specific facility you are going to teach at. I would say look at some of those and see, what it looks like. There's a couple things you would want to include if it's not obvious what you're teaching. So if you're a cycling instructor, I don't think you need to say I have XYZ certification. Most people who are going to come to your class assume that you know how to teach what, you have some sort of certification or you were trained in whatever you're going to teach. If you have something super unique, maybe you did like a power training course or something a little bit more specific that you can stand out from the crowd, use to stand out from the crowd, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about mentioning certifications. I would say a little bit about you. So say, like, if someone's walking out of your class, what stood out to them? Do you do like really heavy hills, really grueling long hills? Maybe you're super motivational. Maybe your classes are the hardest ones in the gym. Maybe you have really good like phrases that keep people pushing through. Maybe you are a little bit more of like a therapist on the bike. I've gotten that before. People go to you just to forget for a little while. Maybe they go to you to sweat. Maybe you have like a standout phrase that you always say, like feel the fire under your feet, or what's the one I like? You didn't come this far just to come this far. That's one of my favorites. If you say things like that and they stick with people, maybe you throw that in your bio. You really just want to give people a feel for how why they should come see you, right? You want to attract them a little bit. So I would say make it a little bit personal. Don't just make it, I graduated from XYZ and then I've been teaching for this many years. And, people want to know about you and why they should come to your class. Maybe talk about the music that you play. I know that's a big thing among our instructors. We all teach very similarly, but when it comes to music, we're very different, and that brings very, very different people. Some people want like rock and roll. Some people want trap music. Some people want a variety of everything. So you can mention something like that. It also, the other thing I would say is I don't know where this is going, if it's going up on a website or if it's going up on like a wall with your picture. That will change kind of how you want to say things too. If it's people who are already going to be in the gym and seeing this, maybe that affects it. So there's a lot of stuff. I would just say make it a little bit personal. Don't make it long. Don't worry about your certifications. Say who you are, how you teach, like what's a knowable about you that would be different from other classes that would make them come to you instead of those classes. Maybe your music and just a few things. I'm happy to read it if you want. It's hard to give such general information, but I think you get the gist of where I'm going with this. Make it unique to you. Make it short and sweet. That's all you got to do. But honestly, most people will choose you or come to your class without ever reading your bio. They might go read that later on, but they're probably going to come to your class, but they're not like searching for you specifically until they see you and they know that you're around, especially if you're subbing. So that'll probably be something that they look at later. I don't think you need to worry about it too much until you start teaching a little bit more. Okay, hopefully that gave you a little bit of something you can put in a bio. Mary asked, how to remember names and birthdays, etc., of regulars and future regulars. I struggle so hard with this, and you're going to laugh at me when I tell you what I do, but all the people that have been coming to my class, I have so many regulars, and it took me forever. I would really focus on when they came in, I would be at the front desk, so I would try and get their names, and I would try and repeat it. That's key. So repeating their names. So, oh, hi, Sarah, welcome to class. I'm excited to have you here, Sarah. Like, just, it sounds a little weird, but when you say their names a lot to them and you get that association with their face and with the word, it just works. So if you have a chance to stand at either the front desk or the door when they're coming in and greet them, I used to go to an instructor who would go around the whole room once everyone was on their bikes during the warm-up and ask every single person's name, regardless of whether or not she knew the person. So even her regulars, she would like jokingly ask their names so that no one felt like, oh, I'm only asking, these 3 people their names because I know everyone. It was everyone. I didn't like that, to be honest, because I felt like if you know me, just know me. You don't have to ask my name anyways. So I think standing at the front door when everyone's coming in is a good way to do it, and just having them, greet you, and you can ask their name if they're newer. Repeating. So what I would do, as soon as someone who maybe I hadn't remembered their name and I had to ask it again, as soon as I do that, I go to my phone, I go to the notes section of my phone, I write their name, and I write something that's going to help me remember them. So maybe James, and he's bald, and he's short. Or Melissa, and she loves to wear bright colors, and she's very talkative. Or Emily, and she's really quiet. She always sits in the back corner. Things that about them, you just don't know their names, that you can associate, put those things together, and it'll help you remember. Sometimes you won't always have a chance to go over to your phone and type that in or write it down, but anytime you can, it will make a huge difference because you can go back and look at that later. So I'm glad you're reminding me of this because I actually have to do it. I've been getting a lot of new regulars, and I just, for the life of me, I can't remember names unless it takes like 100 times. So you're not alone in this, don't worry. The other thing you can do that I always do is if I know someone's come to, my last 10 classes, and I know what she looks like, and I know a lot about her, but I don't know her name, I go into our system and I can see, who's been to those last 10 classes. And if it's only one person, I know it's that woman. Or, if I would recognize her name, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, sometimes seeing the sign-up sheet helps me. So I don't know if you have access to that sort of system or anything else, but yeah, Kim, repeating, it really is. It really is. I always say the name like 3 times and then it helps. I think that's all I had. It's hard. It's a process. I mean, people understand. They know you have tons of people coming in your classes. They're actually usually very flattered when you do remember their names. And then once you remember it the first time, after that, it'll stick. It's just that first time getting it down and remembering it when they walk in. But you'll get there. And that's good that you're getting regulars to the point where you're having trouble remembering their names. That's a good sign. So keep at it. Sarah asked, hang on, let's see. How do you deal with burnout? She's been teaching a lot lately and watching her numbers drop, and it's just burning her out and leaving her uninspired. Okay, I get it. I think everyone in this group will get it. We all face burnout at one point or another. It's hard not to. I mean, especially if you're teaching, I think I teach like 7 to 10 classes a week, not including the people I train on the side. And sometimes it's just exhausting, physically and mentally. So don't get down on yourself about it. Just remember that I like to envision like a roller coaster, and you're probably down here, but it's going to come back up. It's just a matter of time. But you just got to push through. And what you can do in this time is focus on you. Self-care is really important. So take care of yourself outside of your classes. Make sure you're doing things that you enjoy. So see your friends, go out to dinner, go for a walk. Maybe take classes that aren't cycling related, or if there's anything else you teach, don't do that. Maybe go take a yoga class or something a little bit slower, or just go for a really long walk. I mean, I always take, Koji just passed out right now, but when I need just to like detox a little bit, I'll put on a podcast, I'll go for a really long walk, I'll just take a breath. And, you know, I'm not always better when I get back, but a lot of that helps, especially over time. So make sure you're doing that. Even when you're in your upswing, make sure you guys are all taking care of yourself, because this is a really hard job, especially for those of you that teach more than once a week. I mean, and just once a week, and you have full-time jobs, or your moms, or whatever it is. We're doing a lot of stuff. And at the end of the day, you don't need to be doing this. You chose to do it because you're good at it. It's fun. It's inspiring. You like getting up on that bike and leading a group of people to feel better about themselves, feel more confident. It's a really amazing thing that we get to do. And if you get to a point where you're not enjoying it and you're just feeling down on yourself and down on your classes and you're just in a slump, you got to get yourself out by giving yourself the room to breathe, right? You might need to take some time off. Maybe that's what it's going to be. Maybe you need to find some subs for a week and just take a breather. Whenever I do that, by the way, if I have to take some time off, whether I choose to or I have, you know, something I need to take care of, by the end of that time off, I'm so ready to get back. I'm so pumped. I'm like, I missed it so much and I'm ready to go. A little time away can do a lot of good. So, I mean, it's 100% normal. Burnout will happen. If it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. Just be aware that it's going to happen. Keep pushing through. Let yourself kind of ride it out. It will get better. Take care of yourself. Do what you got to do, and you'll get there. I promise. I know it's tough. I know it's especially when your classes aren't doing as well as you'd like them to. That burnout gets 10 times worse. It will get better. I promise you. Just give it some time. Okay. All right. That is all we had for today, I think, guys. Let me look. Yeah. That's it. Hopefully you guys are having fun getting into busy time with this time of year. It always gets a little bit busier. If it hasn't hit yet, it will. At least in places where it gets cold. If you're in like Florida, California, maybe not so much. But for us up in the Northeast, it's definitely our busy time. So it's getting a little bit more fun. That burnout is starting to wear off, and we're having a good time. So hopefully it's the same for you guys. If you have any other questions, as always, leave them in the comments. I'll come back and check, or I'll answer them next week in Hoerner Happy Hour. I'll probably do next week, Thursday, and then figure something out for Thanksgiving week, because not only is it Thanksgiving the next Thursday, but I'm teaching, I think, 3 or 4 classes. So I'm gonna need a nap around this time, I think. Anyways, okay, everybody, you have a lovely, lovely rest of your week. Still can't talk. Lovely rest of your week, and I will see you in the group probably later on today. All right, bye, everybody.